All right, everyone, welcome back. Debbie, do you want to introduce what we're doing next?
Sure. This week's segment is the Hail Mary segment. So basically, what that entails is Austin's going to give a wild, just kind of Hail Mary. He's going to just throw the ball up there, hope it lands somewhere. And we've seen a lot of good Hail Marys, I feel like, this season so far. I'm really enjoying the new segments that we do every week,
Mhm.
and just kind of see what happens. So I think the most obvious one that we have going right now is just hoping that Cadence hits. Kind of hoping, depending on whether you're a Chiefs fan or not. Um, but yeah, what do you got for this week, Austin?
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Caden's um, current Hail Mary that we're keeping track of is that the Chiefs will go undefeated and win the Super Bowl. I alluded to that earlier. Mine is similar in the sense that I will now be rooting for a team to perform a certain way and come out with a certain record. My Hail Mary is the first part of it isn't going to seem quite as crazy, but I think this is the last part that's going to get you. Is that the Cowboys will finish 5-12 and tie for last place in their division. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so at the moment, the Cowboys are sitting at 3-5, which means that in order for them to go 5-12, they are only allowed to win 2 of their next games. They have 9 games left. So they need to win 2 of their next games. So let's look at their games really quickly. So of the games that they have left, they are playing the Eagles. They are playing the Texans, Commanders, Giants, Bengals, Panthers, Buccaneers, Eagles again, and Commanders again. So first off, the first thing we have to remember when we're assessing whether or not they're going to win only 2 more games is Dak Prescott will be out for a minimum of 4 weeks, which means that he will miss the Eagles game, he will miss the Texans game, he will miss the Commanders game, and he will miss the Giants game at a minimum. Okay. So, for starters, I don't think that they beat the Eagles in their current state. The Cowboys have been struggling in general, and now you miss out on Dak Prescott. You're starting Cooper Rush instead. I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles here. Okay, so there's a loss. They're playing the Texans. That one, I feel like they could have a chance, mostly because the Texans have not found their stride on offense without Stephon Diggs, like I said earlier. So that one, they have a chance, but again, no Dak Prescott. So I'm saying they most likely lose that one.
Is that a home
Then they're
game?
playing. That is
Because the Texans are undefeated in home games. I mean, that's a random
that.
stat, but
I think
something
that
to
is
consider
yeah. I think that is a home game there.
for the Colts.
No, for the Cowboys,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. Most of these last ones are home games for them. The Eagles, Texans, Giants, Bengals, Buccaneers, and Commanders games are all at home for them. So that is something to keep our eyes on if they are undefeated in home games. Obviously, home field advantage is a huge part of the NFL. But I think that losing out on Dak Prescott is not going to be super advantageous for them. So I think that they do lose the Texans game. I think they probably Commanders game might be close, but I think that they lose that one too with how hot the Commanders are and how cold the Cowboys have been. I will give them for sure the Giants game to win. Okay, then here we are. Dak Prescott can probably return. We're at the 5th week, but they're playing the Bengals. Okay, this one could be a fantastic game. We could have an absolute shootout. We could have a game where the Bengals blow them out of the water because this is the point where the Bengals start to heat up. They finally get healthy. T. Higgins is back. Um, they need to make a playoff push. So this is the point where we could see the Bengals really heat up and start being that offensive powerhouse that we're used to. They're probably winning their next game against the Panthers. Then they play the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are hot. They almost beat the Chiefs this week. Mike Evans is probably back at this point in the season. So that's going to be a really, really tough game for them. Then they play the Eagles again. This one is another one. It's like, okay, they could win this one. In division games are tough. But the Eagles at this point, too, will be needing to make a heavy playoff push. So that could be a fantastic game to tune into. And then we have the Commanders again, who could be fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC at that point if they're still on top of the division. So that could be a road for the Cowboys to only win 2 of their next 9 games. But then the last part of my prediction here is that they will tie for last place in the division. For that to happen, obviously, the most likely scenario is that they tie with the Giants, who are currently sitting at 2-7. The Giants' next game, so the Giants would need to win 5 of their next games in order to tie with the Cowboys in last. The Giants' next games look like the Buccaneers, the Cowboys, the Saints, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Colts, and the Eagles. They only need to win 3. Out of those 3 games, their most likely wins come from playing the Saints, come from playing the Colts, and then they just need one other game, and they play in division games at that point. So they play the Eagles, and then they play the Cowboys in there. So in division games are always really, really tough. You play those teams twice a year, every year. You know them very, very well. So obviously, the hardest part for the Giants would be needing to win a game against the Ravens, probably not happening. The Buccaneers, probably not happening. The Falcons, probably not happening. So their best chance is those division games against the Eagles and Cowboys, but their best chances are going to be against the Saints and the Colts. So that would be the paths for both of these teams to finish at 5-12, tying for last place in their division. We'll see what happens. It's called a Hail Mary for a reason because this one is for sure out there. But I think that it is at least somewhat possible, mostly for the Cowboys to only finish winning 5 games. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, Debbie, do you have any comments on that at all?
No, I mean, it's not improbable for it to happen. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. It's been a kind of a wild ride for the Cowboys this season. So
yeah, it's been rough for them. So
yeah,
anything could happen any given Sunday,
True.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me and Debbie. It's a really great time. We wish Caden a speedy recovery. And if you guys want to let him know that you want to see him here at KNA football next season, he should take a team-friendly deal. Because they need to pay me at some point. They need to pay Debbie at some point.
Right.
And we need to pay for equipment at some point. So he needs to take a team-friendly deal. Honestly, Caden should probably pay us if we're being honest here. But that's neither here nor there. We can deal with that another time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week as we recap week 10.